Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow from SG TCG, bringing you guys the last day of League from Sully's Abode. I ended up taking Reiju for my last day of League instead of Lucci. Playing a Bonney. I won dice roll, chose to go second. I open up with stage and I chucked the Reiju and I grabbed the baby Reiju. So next turn that I could set up, the big play, big Reiju out of the trash, draw 3. So pass the turn to my opponent playing Bonney. Searches with the Bonney searcher. Could look at top 5 for a supernova card. And he could also search itself, which is pretty cool. So if he does find another Bonney, he could potentially, double search this turn with it and swing 5 with leader still. And it's exactly what he does. He ends up finding the Bonney searcher. Doesn't play it out. Swings 5 and then does it at the end. So now he's gonna be up 1 card this turn, and he finds another Bonney searcher. Again, it's nuts because then now if I don't remove any of these Bonnies, he's gonna draw for turn and then search twice, potentially 3 times if he uses that other Bonney. So I grab Niji this time. I want to find, or I do have the Niji in hand, so I could pop both of these. And I'm going to opt to do Porsche to flood the board here. So I'm going to swing 6 at 1 Bonney just to make sure that it dies. And then Porsche, Don minus it. And I'm going to search top 5 for Foxy Pirates. And I end up hitting the chopper, which is good. Not a whiff. Always great to hit a search off the Porsche. And then I play the Niji out. But before that, I do draw. I'm starting to get this down a lot better now. So Don minus, play the Niji, pop the other Bonney. So now I'm preventing him from double searching the next turn. I could have went face, but again, I don't want him searching because then he can get more 2Ks, find his basils. That's the last thing I want to happen. So he swings 5 of life. I counter out with the chopper. He plays out the Bonney and then the Rouge. Rouge will restand it down at the end of turn. Which can stun, rest one of my characters, preventing a swing. So I'll start turn with playing or tapping stage, and I find the big ECG, which is perfect because I do have the smaller one in hand. So now I'm still going to be able to do 3 swings. So I'm going to swing with Niji to ensure that I get the higher swing in. Here he's debating if he wants to counter it or not, and he ends up taking it. And then I tap 4, play out the ECG, Don minus it, and then I play the ECG from hand, draw from the leader ability, and then I minus the Rouge, so now it's a 3 cost or 3K. So if he decided to block and counter, now it's not worth it. So I swing for 5 with leader, and then here he gives me a 1K, which is a Resonante, and I swing 7 with ECG, and then he blocks with Urge. So here he swings 5 at life. I give him the Reiju. Want the Reiju in trash. Again, I'm just trying to set up the normal Germa plays playing from trash. And then now I have a pretty decent sized board at the moment. I want to get rid of this Cavendish as soon as I'm able to. But not much I can do with it at the moment. I swing 7 with the ECG. He takes it and he rests my Niji with his leader ability. And then I'm going to play out the Reiju, Don minus to play the big Reiju from trash. And then I'm going to trigger the character first to draw 2 and then draw 1 off leader. Gives me more counter in the hand. And I'm also trying to see if I can find another big ECG. So I asked to see how many Donnie that to see what could potentially come next turn. Next turn is 9 Don, and Bonney, if he has it, will be a 9 cost Zoro. So going late game with Bonney is ideally not the move. So I attach it down to Porsche, swing 6, and then I swing 7 with Reiju, leader. He ends up taking it, so he's down to 2 life. I'm trying to put the pressure on him. I could have put a chopper down to ramp it down up and have a block. But again, so now he's gonna waste his whole turn playing out the Cavendish, and he could not necessarily, because he's got the plays out the Zoro, and he can swing with the Cavendish to restand 2 Dawn to still be able to use his leader ability and search with the Bonney. So you see, just tap the 1 and rest the Bonney to search top 5, looking for counter. So now he's got a 2K in hand, and he can still swing with his leader as well, which he does. And then here I considering keeping the chopper just because the Zoro was out now, but I end up countering out instead. So I give him 2 cards, and then he passes to me. Give him the chopper and the pudding, I believe. So here I'm considering on doing stage, and I'm gonna chuck the little Sanji, and I end up finding 2 baby Ichijis, which is perfect if I had another big Ichiji in the trash, which I don't think I've set one in there. If I could have found the other Ichiji, we would have been freaking golden at this point. And then I'm debating if I want to actually grab it or not, or just take the Reiju, since the Reiju I can actually do a play with. So I swing 7 at life. He rests the Niji, and then again he's considering on whether to give me the Rouge or countering out with 2 cards out of hand, because we know he does have the Scratchman Apu. And then he asks how many Dawn I have left. So he's trying to consider his options on what to do. What I'm considering to do next is potentially just hard playing the Reiju to draw, since I am going to be in range, putting me at 4 cards in hand. So I will draw at least 2 cards. Won't Dawn minus with leader. So I go 5 at life. Gives me the 2K. He's got 6 cards in hand. It swings 6 at life again. Gives me another one. And then I swing 6 at Cavendish. Here, I guess he was debating on whether to give me the Rouge or not. I honestly probably would have just saved that Cavendish if I was him. But he probably opted to keep the Rouge over the Cavendish because he wasn't sure if I was going to play a Rush Niji or Ichiji. Because if I played the Rush Ichiji, there was no point in keeping it. So I can see why he let it go. But I would have tried my best. I would have countered out of that and then gave him the Rouge to keep Cavendish, because Cavendish could have at least applied pressure, especially with the Zoro coming up this next turn, because this Zoro's about to put in work on me. 6 cards in hand. Obviously, he has his Zoro swings and a Rouge blocker, and he still has the Bonney search that he can use at any moment he wants. So he swings 5 at Porsche. I'm considering on keeping it alive, but again, I know that I'm about to have 3 9K swings coming at me. Potentially more if he decides to attach Dawn to the Zoro. So it's just a risk I'm willing to take. It's either I'm going to counter out of that, let him swing at the Porsche again, and then go for the rest of the board. But I'm trying to gauge on exactly what's going to happen, because he's in a really good position to clear my entire board here, and I don't have a lot to bring it back either. And what's crazy is the Bonney player that I'm facing was in first place going into the day. I was in second place. So this match right here was going to determine who was first place for the league, and just had to play it out the rest of the day, you know, make sure they held on to the spot. It's pretty cool. The pricing at Sully's Abode is actually pretty good. They do pack per head, or I think 1.5 pack per head. So the guy that usually wins first place pretty much almost gets a box. I've seen I've personally won a box from winning League Night. I pulled an Otis signature from it, which is busted. But yeah, it's always about locals takes care of, of their players, good prizing, especially for League. And then if you could top out in top 10 of League, you get packs of the new set, which is cool. So I ended up getting second place and getting a box of OP8 when it does come out. So here, he ends up board clearing my entire board. He leaves the Ichiji on the field, but he ends up taking out the Reiju and the Niji. And then he swings 10 at life. Not sure why he didn't go for the Ichiji there. I kind of figured it would have probably been best to just completely wipe my entire board, but I did have a lot of counter in hand. So I use stage to chuck, and then I find the Ichiji from the search. But honestly, right here I'm considering on doing another Ichiji to reduce the Basil down and give myself 3 swings, because no matter what, his leader ability is gonna rest one of my characters, which sucks. This is why I wanted that Rouge off the board. But you're gonna see, I'm thinking really hard here, trying to see how I can get through this. I swing 7. He rests my leader. And then here he's considering on how to approach it, whether to counter or give me the Rouge or take the life. Because now he ends up blocking with the Rouge. And this is where I honestly could have played it different. I have the Sora in hand, and you're going to see I'm about to play it out. I'm going to chuck the Ichiji that I got off search. And I'm going to grab the little Ichiji. And this is where I'm still playing it right. But here I'm going to play out Porsche for 3. And Don minus, I'm going to do the Porsche ability to search top 5. And I'm going to grab the 2K, which is the more ideal choice. And then play out the Ichiji. Before I play out the Ichiji, what I should have did, and this is before I swung with the first Ichiji, I should have tapped 3 Don first, played out the Niji that I had in my hand, bounced the Rouge by bringing out the Niji from my trash back onto the field, putting it into his hand. Then I should have swung 7 at his life with the Ichiji, putting pressure on him, because now he doesn't have that block that he would have had that he used. And then I should have played out the Porsche, bringing out the last Ichiji from my hand, minusing the Basil. Because I don't want to play out the Ichiji and then he rests it because his Basil's down to 5. So at that point, we would have put all the pressure on, and then we could have went for game, because he admitted to me he didn't have any counter. So I should have played it like that, bouncing the Rouge to start and then doing Porsche ability to do the Ichiji. But it is what it is. It just lets you think of all the possibilities you could have did there. I wouldn't have thought of that until now. I'm looking back at this video and I see that I had, that different play there as an option, which it still could have went sideways, because who knows, but at the end of the day, you never know unless you try it. And now it's like a different strat that I can think of for next time. But yeah, he ends up blocking with the Basil after it's reduced with the Ichiji. And then here it's just gonna give me the old Bonney beatdown with the Zoro. I opted not to play the Chopper just because if he has a Hody Jones, he could just rest the Chopper. And then he has an 8K rush, his leader swing, and then 3 Zoro 9 swings. But here he's thinking about it. He's taking a while, but he's just going to attach majority of his Don onto his Zoro. But first he swings 5 with his leader. I'm gonna just counter out one of the swings I could get out of. And then he's just swinging 16s with Zoro, restand, 16, restand, and then, you know, he gets me for game. But yeah, that's the end of the video, you guys. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys would like to see, and then I'll catch you guys on the next one.